Hi, and welcome to another edition of OnsideSa. We're going through our last one standing. Budge, as you know, the league fixtures have been concertinaed, so Budge keeps an order of who's playing who. And Budge, only one guy went this week.
John Biscoby went on the weekend. He was with Wolves. They never turned up against Arsenal.
Yeah.
But two went last night on West Ham. You know, Dean.
So we're down to 6.
We're down to 6, yeah.
Who are the West Ham boys?
Dean Moody, I think it was Vivian that went out.
Yeah,
Sorry, Nikesh.
Nikesh.
Nikesh Ajoda went out.
Ajoda's out.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're down to 6 of 9. That gets tough, Budge?
Paul, they've gone 10 rounds. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable, yeah, it is, sure. Well done to these guys, you know, that's very, very hard.
Well,
so here's your latest sheet, sorry.
Yeah, those are the guys that...
yeah, Nikesh and Dean Moody went on West Ham. West Ham played well and lost.
Jeez, couldn't believe it. I watched the other game, Paul, but I saw the highlights and... they were unlucky.
You haven't got 2 TVs?
Nah. Tim Sherwood's a mock. Every time he tips something, it goes the other way.
Yeah.
So they're really playing well.
Yeah,
they're all over them.
Mark Lowen wasn't much better. He
Yeah.
said Wolves will win 1-0.
Okay.
You know, I listened to
Tight
them.
game. Well, that's the game I
Tight
watched.
game. But where's Stevie? In studio?
Stevie Bram. Well, he should be. His team's come right.
Steve Bram, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
Morning, Steve. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good, good. We're just before we start talking about things, we always like to talk about Fulham. Turn the corner a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good performance at Forest. Obviously, we were still without sort of Mitrovic for the last game of his band. Tom Kearney picked up a knock right at the end of the Birmingham game, might be out for a couple of weeks. But actually, we scored a great goal, and then it was a good defensive performance. And, you know, I think, you know, they had 1 or 2 half chances, Forest, but really we saw the game out well. So I was pleased about that.
If your name's Harry, you're a good player. You know,
Prince
Harry Kane, Harry Maguire,
Harry Arter.
Harry Arter, Harry Winks,
Okay.
was that guy up front? Kuehl?
Harry Kuehl, yeah.
Harry Kuehl. You want to be a footballer? Call him Harold.
Yeah.
Harry Arter, great goal.
It was, but in fact, he scored 2 great goals in our last 2 games, and those are his first 2 league goals for us. So, you know, it picked a good time to get on the score sheet, certainly. So actually, we had a very good, strong battling midfield. Without Tom Kearney there, who brings us a bit more creativity.
Yes.
But they had Harry Arter, Harrison Reed, who's really come back strongly since injury, and Josh Onoma, who we had from Tottenham, and he had a really good game. So, you know, it's just up front. Without Mitrovic, we looked a little bit lightweight. But so I'm hoping that Mitrovic will be raring to go on Friday evening.
Yeah, put him on the bench. Let him come on the last half an hour. The guys have done well. Without him, keep them going.
Yeah, it depends. You know, I think we do lack something up front. I think that they probably will start him. Only because it just gives us, and Cardiff are a fairly big physical side, so I'd be surprised if they didn't start Mitrovic.
Steve, Tuesday, Chelsea against Crystal Palace. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did see some of it. I thought at one point Chelsea were going to sort of pull away, but actually Palace kept plugging away, and actually were very unlucky not to get something at the death.
How was that header, Steve? The header hit the post. Yeah, the header hit the post to make it 3-all. The bounce back between the 2 Palace strikers. That was stiff.
That was unlucky, yeah.
Yeah, I just think Chelsea, I mean, they're good going forward, but they just, defence needs tightening up. And, you know, they're going out there buying sort of forward and attacking players, but they do need to strengthen that defence.
Steve, I watched Watford beat Norwich. What a terrible game.
Yeah, bad game.
I know it was a great result, and Welbeck took his goal well, but I don't know, I'm just not sold on Watford staying up at the moment.
Well, I mean, that was a huge result for them because they'd lost that. They really would have been sucked into it. So it gives them a bit of a cushion. I mean, they're 4 clear of the bottom 3 with a better goal difference, and they're home to Newcastle. And you're not quite sure what you're going to get with Newcastle because, you know, completely blown away by City. Yeah, you know, they played quite well. I think if Watford, you know, and Watford still play West Ham, so it's sort of in their own hands. They might, with Nigel Pearson there, they might just do enough to stay up, I think.
Yeah, a team I was impressed with for an hour was Arsenal. I thought they should have been 2 or 3-0 up before a red card, which cost them dearly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They play with a lot more confidence. You know, 1 or 2 Arsenal fans I know sort of messaging me saying it's you know, it's amazing how he's turned it round in the last sort of couple of weeks because they started off pretty sluggishly, losing at City and losing to Brighton. That was, I think, the kick up the backside they needed. And actually, for the first hour against Leicester, they were well worthy of winning by more than one. But it was a silly red card, and after that, Leicester sort of put them under a bit of pressure. And a typical Vardy goal, he just got in, ahead of the defender and pinched an equaliser. So they'd be disappointed, but they certainly look a lot more attractive, playing a lot more attractive football.
Yeah, he's played the three at the back, or the 5-3-2, hasn't he, with the two wing backs and Garca. And I was impressed with, I think it's Danny Cabalas, the midfield player.
Good player.
Nice player, yeah. At least he plays forward.
Yeah, he's on loan at the moment, but I sort of read that it doesn't look like they might be buying him necessarily.
Okay.
But I think that he's going to want to add, one or two to his good players to his squad and offload, like the Ozils of this world, who obviously aren't going to feature now.
One or two of the defenders should go as well.
Oh, no, there's no doubt about that.
How about Wednesday?
Steve, I watched the Sheffield United Wolves game. Two well-organised teams. That was the old-fashioned English battle.
Yeah. Well, actually, Sheffield United have sort of turned the corner a little bit. I mean, they really started slowly and well beaten in a couple of their restart games, but actually they came back very strongly, I'm afraid, Paul, against Tottenham. I know Tottenham were unlucky with the disallowed goal, but but that was a game really that I think sort of all but ended Wolves' hopes of anywhere near a top four finish. With those two defeats, but Sheffield United put themselves back into contention for a Europa place.
Yeah, I think it would be justice if they did get a Europa League place. Now, one team I thought was a little bit unlucky last night was West Ham, losing 1-0 to Burnley.
Played well.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't only just saw highlights sort of afterwards.
Yeah.
They had a few chances, quite a bit of the ball. Burnley is just, Sean Dyche has really, apart from that sort of game at City, Sean Dyche has really got them playing well since the restart, and they sit in ninth. I think for West Ham they'll be disappointed because that was an opportunity to pretty much guarantee safety. That would have put them on to 34 and 7 clear. But they still they go to Norwich at the weekend. I think West Ham will be thinking, right, if we can win there, then they probably will be safe. So I think sort of beating Chelsea was a huge result for West Ham last week. So I'd be very surprised if they get sucked into the bottom three now.
Yeah, I see Liverpool winning 3-1. He's starting to make a few changes early on, Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, I can understand that. They've got games coming thick and fast, but to be fair, after 10 minutes, they were 2 up, and they looked as if they could go on and get a real hatful.
Yeah.
And Brighton, fair play to them, sort of had a go. They didn't really sit back. They played quite well, got a really good goal. And actually, Liverpool needed that third goal just to be safe. I mean, they squandered a few chances, but I thought it was a better Liverpool performance than the one against Villa, which was pretty sluggish. And I can understand why. He can rotate 1 or 2. They've got other games coming up, but he hasn't made wholesale changes.
Yeah.
And obviously, he brought on a couple of the big names late, to finish the game.
To me, when I watch Liverpool, the key man I would make sure doesn't come forward is that Andy Robertson. The supply that comes from the left-hand side is outstanding. He came on though.
He decided to rest him in the first half. Had Nico Williams playing to the left back. Didn't have a great game, Nico Williams, but it's good experience for him. But once Andy Robertson came on, as you say, the ball was going on the left-hand channel, and he sprays that ball. I mean, obviously they often play on that side with Robertson and Mane, but both were rested in the first half.
Yeah.
But second half they put Brighton under a lot more pressure and probably should have had more than 3.
Yeah. Steve, on to this weekend's game. The key game for me anyway is Norwich City at home to West Ham. Do you see West Ham rebounding?
I think so. I mean, Norwich have tried. I mean, they've tried in some of their games. They've lost every game.
Yeah.
They're pretty much relegated. They've got to win every game and hope others don't win any, and I think that's unlikely. Norwich gave, for the highlights I saw, gave Watford a bit of a scare.
Yeah,
but
they did.
I just think ultimately, their defence is just not strong enough, and I think they've accepted. I think Daniel Farke's pretty much accepted that they're going down. For them, the key is to keep as much of that squad intact for next season. But I think West Ham will target the same as Brighton did last weekend. They'll target the Norwich game as one that if they win, they could put a bit of daylight between them and the teams at the bottom.
Talking of Watford, how do you see them going at home against Newcastle?
Well, I think this is a game they want to target. I mean, Newcastle were well and truly beaten yesterday. I watched the City game, and they could have had a hatful more. I mean, Newcastle just, second half particularly, I mean, the game was lost, but they still wanted to play literally all 11 men in their own half.
Yeah.
They didn't show any signs of going forward, and City completely steamrolled them. I think Watford will really go for it. I think this is a huge game for them. Same as West Ham. I mean, both of them could end up on 34 points if they win those games, and wouldn't make them safe, but would certainly create quite a big gap between them and the bottom three.
Okay, Sheffield United, great result last night. Can they upset Chelsea?
A week ago I would have said no, but they've come back with sort of a couple of big wins. Chelsea going forward always look as if they're going to score goals, and I think unlikely that they would beat Chelsea, but I think it's going to be a close game.
Okay, on to Sunday. Wolves hosting Everton. Disappointing in Wolves last night. Bar Traore, they didn't seem to have much creativity in the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that losing at home to Arsenal the week before was a bit of a surprise to them and to a number of people. And again, the reports I heard is that they played okay, but they didn't look like they were going to win the game last night. I think it's a tough game. I mean, Everton, a sort of a decent side under Ancelotti. Maybe not quite at the rub of the green in one or two of the games, but I think this will be close. I think there'll be no more than one goal in it.
Okay, and the big game on Sunday, obviously, is the London derby, Tottenham Arsenal. Who do you fancy?
Yeah,
Hard game.
Well, when I'm in the various fantasy leagues I'm in, I'd sort of put that down as a scoring draw. I think that both teams probably end up cancelling each other out. A draw wouldn't help either team, in all honesty. But I think it is a close one. I don't think there'll be much in it at all. I think it really could go either way. Obviously, without the passion of a capacity crowd, I guess that probably helps Arsenal a bit. But I'm looking forward to that. I think they're always good games.
Can you believe it? A Europa League place at stake for two of the biggest clubs in England.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Well, I think this is in a way it makes it interesting. I mean, you've got sort of in the old days, you could probably name the top sort of four easily. Now it's with teams like sort of Leicester up there this season, but Wolves and Sheffield United. I think at the very least Arsenal and Tottenham want to get into Europa. I think to have no European football at all, I think would be disappointing for them.
Yeah. Steve, on to the Championship. Your boys are in on Friday night. We've got it. How do you see them going against Cardiff?
Yeah, I mean, it will be a tight game. I mean, we always have got close games against them. I'm hoping that we will get a win. I was surprised that Cardiff were relatively well beaten by Blackburn at home during the week, and I think that's sort of hurt their playoff prospects. They're still sitting in sixth, but with teams sort of breathing down their neck. And obviously, if we win, actually, it guarantees us a playoff place.
Okay.
Mathematically, we wouldn't be able to be caught. So, with 3 games to go, I think that takes the pressure off us a little bit. So, I'm hoping that we will sort of win. It will be close, but I think that I think it's important that teams like we win. It just keeps the pressure on the teams above us going into the last 3 games.
Yeah. Okay. Talking of Blackburn, they host West Brom. How do you see that going?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Blackburn were a little bit unlucky against Leeds. They lost at home, but the first goal should never have been given. I mean, a clear foul. They had quite a few chances. They came back with a good win at Cardiff. Their playoff hopes are probably almost over, but I think they'll give them a good game. For West Brom, obviously a win will put them within a few points of promotion. So I think it will be entertaining. Blackburn have got nothing to lose. They've really got to go for it. Yeah. They're a few points adrift, but I think it should be an entertaining game.
All right, now watch Derby versus Brentford. Derby last night against West Brom. I can't believe, bar Rooney, how bad they are, and they're 7th. Can they upset Brentford?
I'd be surprised if they do.
Yeah.
Brentford, as it happens, Brentford were losing at half-time at home to Charlton, which sort of gave everyone around them sort of hope, but they came back with goals. And that's the thing, Brentford have got goals in them. They've won all 5 games since the restart. Derby were lucky to get a point against Forest last week.
Definitely.
In the 94th, 95th minute. Brentford have to win to keep pressure on the top 2. if Derby lose this, then that could be the playoff hopes extinguished for them possibly. So again, there's a lot to play for both teams. I'd be surprised if the best Derby I think could hope for is to pinch a point.
Okay, talking of Nottingham Forest, they travel to Preston. I know my boys won last night. Can we upset them?
Well, to be honest, that was a surprise. I just thought that maybe Wednesday might nick that or a draw.
Yeah.
So if we beat Cardiff, it gives teams like sort of Preston, Swansea, Derby, they're all still in it. They're all still vying for. So Forest, I thought, were okay against Fulham. I think they sort of punch a little bit above their weight. I just don't think that I could be proved wrong, but I don't think they're good enough to go up. So I think again, Preston got nothing to lose. They've just got to go for it. There are goals in the team. Obviously, they had stopped scoring freely like they did at the beginning of the season, and I think they got maybe their confidence has come back a bit with 3 goals in the last 15 minutes last night. So I think that's going to be close. I wouldn't be surprised if Preston pinch it though.
Well, let's hope so. And last but not least, Steve, Swansea City hosting Leeds on Sunday.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a good game. I mean, Leeds, as we know, are strong away from home, but Swansea have come back, had a good win at Birmingham yesterday, and again, Swansea are right on the sort of fringes of the playoff place.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to, they can see they have an opportunity of catching Cardiff in 6. I think this would be a close game. I think Swansea, again, nothing to lose. They've just got to go for it. A draw doesn't help teams sort of in 7th, 8th and 9th place.
Yeah, got to go for it, yeah.
I think they'll go for it. So I think there'll be an entertaining game. Leeds, it'd be interesting because this is the time of the season that they did last year where they had a wobble. So I think that's going to be a closer game than people might think.
All right, Steve, now the pressure time of the weekend, I need your best bet and your best value bet. Who are you going for?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go for Fulham. I just think that, I can't see any reason why we can't win. I think that's a decent sort of price.
Yeah.
But value bet, I was thinking of Hull City. They've been playing a bit better recently. Millwall are pretty much out of the race now for a playoff place. Yeah. And I think with the pressure at the bottom, I think Hull might just edge that.
Okay, Steve.
That's excellent, Steve.
Thank you.
Come on, Fulham.
Yeah, well, we'll have them on, Steve, so hopefully
do
everyone a favour.
Another Friday night game, and then the following week during the week is away at West Brom on TV as well. Here. So,
well, you never know, Steve.
You never know.
Anything's possible in the
I think
Championship.
we're just sort of 2 or 3 points, just a little bit too shy of even if we won our last 4 games, I'm still not sure that would be enough. So, but look, all you can do is win your games and put the teams above you under pressure. Right. Absolutely. So, looking forward to it now. I was obviously losing the first 2. I was a little bit sort of fed up, but we won 3 on the spin, defended well, and I think that's the key at the moment. Interesting stat is that when we've taken a lead in a championship game this season, which we haven't lost. In fact, in the 22 games we've taken the lead this season, we've won 19 and drawn 3. So,
so you better score first.
Exactly. Yet when we've gone behind, we've only won 2. So whatever the reasons are, so we get that first goal. You'd like to think that we could win that one.
Stevie, as always, thanks very, very much.
Steve. Pleasure.
We'll talk to you next week, Steve.
Enjoy
Thanks
the
a
weekend.
lot.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Cheers.
Steve.
Right, there was Stevie B from London. Budge, right, Premiership fixtures, they're coming thick and fast.
Yeah, Paul, that's the only good thing. 3 months, obviously, with the COVID. Now it's...
Yeah. Budge, there's games tonight and they jump to Saturday.
Yeah.
Friday is the Fulham game.
Yeah, there's games. I think there's a game on Monday as well. But
right,
that's
Norwich
good.
City, West Ham.
Paul, I'm disappointing for West Ham. I like David Moyes.
Yeah, he has a go.
He has a go. I think they'll rebound, Paul.
So
I haven't been impressed with Norwich.
So do I.
I just like what I see from West Ham, Paul. Have a go, as long as Tim Sherwood doesn't fancy them. But I think 11-10, Paul. I like West Ham all day.
Watford, Newcastle.
Paul, Newcastle rested 6 players last night. He wasn't going to go there and get a result. Man City, so he rested them for this game. I don't see them getting beat. Watford haven't impressed me, Paul. I didn't like what I saw against Southampton. They were rubbish against Norwich. And the guy should have equalised late on. I think win and draw Newcastle, but obviously the desire is for Watford. But I couldn't take 9-10.
Liverpool too strong for Burnley?
They should be, Paul, but Burnley've only lost one in the last 11, and that was at Man City. He's done a brilliant job, Sean Dyche.
And he's got to get a big club now.
Oh, Paul, you know, which big clubs will go for him? That's the sad part, you
Well,
know.
I think he's got the most clean sheets.
You know, I thought Everton was tailor-made for him, but then they went and got Ancelotti. I just think it's the foreign owners want a big name,
Yeah,
but he's a top...
which team? You're right. You know, no one's going to fire their
You know, he
top
can't
boys.
go to Arsenal. You look at the London clubs, he won't get one of those jobs. Chelsea, so he's got to go up north. United City, he's got no chance. I thought Everton was tailor-made for him.
Yeah.
But they went with Ancelotti. He's a world-class manager, but he's done a brilliant job.
Yeah.
Should be
okay,
Liverpool. all day.
Sheffield United, Chelsea, good
Well,
game.
I watched them, Paul. They're organised.
Yeah,
and if
good
he's
game.
not manager of the year this year, that Chris Wilder, then I don't know.
Yeah.
With what he's got. But, Paul, Chelsea have goals in them. You know,
Yeah,
Sheffield
yeah.
United don't. I don't see Chelsea getting beat, Paul, but 31-10, the draw looks a player.
Okay, Brighton coming off a defeat.
Paul, you know, they try and
can
play-
They hold Man City.
Yeah, I don't see it. You know, Man City have lost 4 of the last 5 away from home, though. How
That's
they
right.
didn't beat Southampton, I don't know. But, you know, Brighton, he'll chop and change. I think there's plenty of goals in that, Paul.
Yeah.
I think they'll score, but obviously Man City should be all day.
Now, I don't think this year Wolves have lost 3 in a row on the trot in the league, and they're at home to Everton, who have just lost to Spurs, who are
Yeah.
looking to turn it around. Are they playing tonight?
They play
Everton?
Southampton tonight at home.
Another tough game. So they don't want to get a boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom.
But they look defensively very sound. Everything you hear about
that's right.
Ancelotti's
We got
improved.
We got a deflected goal
Yeah,
against him.
yeah. I don't know. I like Everton here, Paul. You know, Wolves at home have struggled. Yeah, and everyone's now matching up in the midfield with Neves and Matinho. They're now making sure Traore is not going to beat them.
Yes.
And it's been hard for Wolves. They didn't deserve to lose, but, you know, I think a draw, you know, it's a 1-2-3 game in exotic, Paul, but I like Everton win and draw there.
Okay, right, let's go on to Aston Villa fighting for their lives. Who they got
They
tonight?
play Man United tonight.
Oh.
Paul, I just can't believe Aston Villa can be 12-10 against anybody. Yeah, there's no home crowd advantage. I think Crystal Palace at 23-10 is a good bet, Paul. Win and draw, I think, is 8-10. The betting, it should be a lot closer. Crystal Palace played well against Chelsea. I know they've lost 4 in a row, but they've got good players.
They conceded their first goal against Chelsea because the guy pulled up lame.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
you know,
Chelsea player.
The
Yeah.
ex-Chelsea player pulled up lame. That game,
And Chelsea, they were 2-0 down in no time, and they came back and they
Palace should
deserved
have
the draw.
equalised. They should have equalised,
I
yeah.
think there's a good price, Paul, 23-10. Win and draw, to me, looks a gift.
As Stevie said, they both don't want to draw Tottenham and Arsenal. They're both going to go for the
Well, they've
win.
got to go
Spurs
for
at
it,
home are
Paul.
not too bad,
Yeah.
but Arsenal aren't playing badly either.
Paul, I like Tottenham with the 2 teams. I know Arsenal really played well, but Leicester were going for it and they got caught.
Yeah.
They're good 3 up front. I like what I see with Arsenal. Middle of the park, I'm not a Garka lover, never have. If you give that guy Kabbalah space, but I don't believe Spurs will be. And their backs 3 have done well, but, you know, Spurs I think will win, Paul. 15-10, obviously London derby.
Yeah, tough.
It's tough, but I like Spurs of the 2 teams.
Right, Bournemouth fighting for their lives. They play Spurs tonight.
Yeah, I can't have Bournemouth, Paul. Well, I know they played well against United, but they can't stop anything. Every attack United had, they looked like scoring.
Yeah.
Should be Leicester 7-10 all day, Paul. And I think there'll be a lot of goals in that game. And Leicester fought hard against Arsenal, Paul. They've only won 2-10, but I think they'll beat Bournemouth.
The Man United, Fulham are hoping to make it 2 wins against the Manchester clubs, but
Yeah.
United too strong for Southampton.
It should be,
At
Paul.
home,
How Southampton
sure.
beat Man City, I'll never know.
Yeah.
There were shots all over
goal.
the bar. An excellent goal, but Paul, you
Yeah.
know, we look like a team now. Greenwood's
Yeah.
changed our team. We've now got 3 decent attackers. We're still lacking a lot of players, but we should beat Southampton.
Yeah. All right, the championship's really hotting up both ends.
Well, I've been watching and taping quite a few of the games that have come on, you know, so more of an idea. You know, Huddersfield played well against Forest, but I fancied Luton last week. They got beat 5-0 at home against Reading. Now, you know, in the championship, they got beat, you know, so... But Huddersfield, it's a relegation match, Paul. They're both down there. Of
Yeah.
the 2 teams, the 26-10 a draw looks the player, even though both teams are going to go because they've got to get out of it.
Yeah, that's right. Fulham, Stevie makes a good thing.
Paul, I think it was a wake-up call losing Mitrovic. When you got a centre forward, and you know, and I told Steve after the one game they lost to Brentford, that Tierney's a liberty. He plays like Ozil.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they dropped him. Harry Arter's come in, and I agree. I think Fulham 9-10 is a good bet.
Okay, for even money.
Yeah,
Even money, I've got
it's
here.
9.5 to 10. Paul,
Okay.
always round it down. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, Charlton Reading.
Yeah, Paul, you know, Charlton haven't scored in the last 3 games. They had a great restart after COVID, but Reading, You know, that Mark Bones done a good job. They're better away from home than at home.
Why is that?
Doesn't make sense, but I think Reading in a draw for me there, Paul. But it's a 1-2-3 in the exotics, but Reading in a draw for me there.
Brentford?
Paul, I'll make them my bet of the day. I took 9-1 Derby to get a promotion place, and they won 5 in a row. Watson beat Preston. They looked okay against Forest. They were terrible. 10 men. They sneaked to draw. Last night they were disgraceful. They had kids running around that didn't know what they were doing. Brentford's my bet of the day, Paul. 9-10.
Barnsley, Wigan?
Yeah, Paul, you know, Wigan have had that 12-point deduction, but they'd only lost one of the last, I think, 9 prior to that. Desperation game for Barnsley. They've got to go for it. Of the two teams, yeah, it's a 1-2-3, Paul. A draw player for me there.
Blackburn at home to West Brom?
I wasn't impressed with West Brom last night, Paul. Derby were terrible.
Are they top of the log?
They're top of the league, but this could be an upset. You know, Blackburn won in midweek. They've only lost one of the last, I think it's 14 at home, and that was to Leeds. Now, the first goal, as Steve said, was a foul. They'll give them a game here, Paul. But obviously everyone fancies West Brom, but I wouldn't be taking 7-10.
Steve likes Hull because Mull have got nothing to play for.
Yeah, you know, Millwall have got a better record away from home than at the Den. You know, Hull City have only won 1 in 14, and I watched the game against Middlesbrough. How they won, I don't know. They're a terrible team, Paul. You know, the desperation side and the price is good, but I don't see them winning. Millwall in a draw for me.
Middlesbrough have got thing in
They won
charge.
last night, Neil Warnock.
He's going to get them out of it.
Yeah, they'll get out of it, Paul. And I think
He's very good luck
confirm
at
it.
it.
Yeah, he's got them sorted, Paul. I watched him against Hull, and they sat early, and Hull scored an injury time to beat them. They should never have won. But they won last night. They won at Millwall. They won 2-0 away. Bristol City fired their manager, Lee Johnson. They won last night. But I like Middlesbrough, Paul, 11-10.
Preston North End, Forest.
Well, I was
they've got to go
despondent
for it.
until we won last night. We won 3-1 away, scored 3 goals late on. Last chance saloon for us, Paul. But I watched Forest outplay Derby, and I thought they fought hard against with Fulham when they lost.
Yeah.
It should be Forest all day, but we've got a glimmer of hope, Paul. But I don't see Forest losing that.
QPR, Sheffield Wednesday.
I like QPR. I know they got beat last night, but so did Sheffield Wednesday, Paul. I like QPR 15-10.
Swansea City, Leeds.
Well, you know, because Preston and Derby, they're in the playoff, I'm thinking that Leeds beat them. And I think they will, Paul. They're good to watch, Leeds.
Yeah.
Swansea, I watched them against, was Millwall. Organised, a youngster from Liverpool, Brewster, scoring a few goals. I don't see Leeds getting beat there, Paul.
Stoke?
I think Stoke are good things. You know, Birmingham, their manager resigned or retired last night because he was going at the end of the season. They haven't won in 11 now, Birmingham. Stoke have come right. They've won 5 of the last 7 at home. The only thing is with Stoke is they play Leeds tonight, so you just don't know the Thursday. Yeah. So that's the only thing against them, but I fancy Stoke.
Right, let's look at your soccer sixes. And before we look at these, on GoldCircle starting a soccer 10.
Yeah, we're starting a soccer 10. It starts. It's nicknamed the early bird because what we want to do, we want to pay people out on Saturday. So you take a bet on Saturday, you get paid out on Saturday.
The early bird soccer 10.
Early bird soccer 10.
Who's picking the teams?
Well, I'm picking the teams, Paul.
Excellent.
So we're going through. We're trying to
You're not going to have kindergarten against Gumbies.
Well, Paul, you know, we've got to try something. You know, I don't agree. I've said it for a couple of months now. What we're giving the public. Obviously, Johannesburg, they rule the roost on what gets picked. I've disagreed, but it's fallen on deaf ears.
So now GoldCircle putting one out.
Yeah, we're going to do one. Let's see. It starts at 1:30, Paul. We've, you know, analysed not everybody else's, but just the games, Paul. You know, I speak to a lot of people in the totes. They want to punt on what they know.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know, we've done one. It's early. As I said, it ends at 9 o'clock. So if you've got a tone, you get paid once the game is finished. So we haven't included the Brighton Man City
game.
Soccer
10 early bird.
Soccer 10 early bird.
Have you got it on this week?
It's on this week. It's on. We've got it on our screen shortly, Paul. It'll come
okay,
up
let's have a look at this. But
Soccer 6, Paul, is 2-1-6. I've banked Liverpool to beat Burnley. I've gone the field in the Blackburn West Brom game. I've gone Millwall win and draw at Hull City. I've sided with QPR not to get beat at home against Sheffield Wednesday. I've gone the field looking for the upset in Sheffield United Chelsea, and I think Man City will beat Brighton 2-1-6. On to our international soccer 6. I've gone the field in the Osasuna Celta de Vigo game. I've thrown the draw in with Lazio looking for the upset. I don't see Roma losing at Brescia. I think Barcelona will be too good for Real Valladolid. I've gone the field in the Juventus-Atalanta game and bank at Atletico Madrid to beat Real Betis 2-1-6.
Juventus were 2-0 up.
They were 2-0 up, Paul. I turned over and then they got beat 4-2. Zlatan scored the penalty.
They played well.
Yeah, they can. They've got players, and Atalanta's the hottest team in Italy at the moment, so it should be a good game, Paul. So 2-1-6 or Soccer 6.
Okay, which one are we looking at next?
This is our one, Paul. It's Sport 21. This is our early bird one.
Is this the early bird one?
Early bird one. Yeah, I've banked West Ham to beat Norwich. I don't see Newcastle losing at Watford, so it's Newcastle win and draw. I've gone with Reading win and draw to avoid defeat at Charlton. I've gone Brentford win and draw at Derby. I've banked Liverpool to beat Burnley. Our second page, I've gone West Brom win and draw at Blackburn. I've gone with Millwall win and draw at Hull City. I sided with another away team, Nottingham Forest, to avoid defeat at Preston North End. I've banked QPR to beat Sheffield Wednesday, and I've gone Chelsea win and draw at Sheffield United, 256.
Okie dokie. And then have we got a 13 this week?
No, Soccer 13 is always in our play, Paul. I've banked Liverpool to beat Burnley. I've gone Man City to beat Brighton. I've gone Chelsea win and draw at Sheffield United. West Brom win and draw away to Blackburn Rovers. I've gone Millwall to avoid defeat at Hull City. I've gone Middlesbrough win and draw at home against Bristol City. I've banked Nottingham Forest because I had to find another banker to beat Swansea. On to our second page. I've gone Queen's Park Rangers to beat Sheffield Wednesday. I've gone Everton win and draw at Wolves. I fancy Crystal Palace to avoid defeat at Aston Villa. I've gone Tottenham win and draw at home against against Arsenal. I've banked Leicester to beat Bournemouth and Leeds to beat Swansea, 256.
Excellent. Thank you. Right, the big bet day, Budge.
Yeah, Paul, on to our
Tell me your
Budge's bet.
thinking here. Tell me your
I've gone
thinking.
West Ham and Leicester to both win and over 2.5 total goals in each game.
Okay.
So West Ham to beat Norwich over 2.5 and Leicester to beat Bournemouth. And I've gone Crystal Palace win and draw at Aston Villa, Paul.
Okay.
2,300 at 200. The championship is always a bun fight, but I think Fulham will beat Cardiff. I'm going with QPR to beat Sheffield Wednesday. I'm going Leeds to beat Swansea City and over 2.5 total goals, 2,400 to 200. Both teams to score sides are Sheffield United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Leicester, Blackburn, West Brom, and Hull City, Millwall, 4,001.
Sure.
Yeah, so some of the odds are very good, Paul, and it multiplies quickly. Then our fixed total goals, Paul, I've gone West Ham, Leicester, and Leeds United all to score over 1.5 goals. So every one of them has to score over 1.5 goals.
Every one of those teams. West Ham got to score twice.
Score twice, Leicester at least twice, and Leeds at least twice. And I'm going Barcelona against Real Valladolid to score 3. Yeah, 3,500 at 200. So the odds on that bet are great.
The omelette?
Our Spanish omelette's back. Yeah, I've gone Barcelona to beat Real Valladolid and over 2.5 goals. I've gone Sevilla to beat Mallorca plus over 2.5 total goals. I'm backing Sergio Ramos to score any time on Friday against Alaves.
Does he take the penalties?
They've got penalties in the last few games, Paul. Some of them I don't know. He's 15 at 10, Paul. He comes up for every corner. They'll get a penalty and more than likely score. Though that was a good bet. And I'm going over 2.5 goals. Levante Athletic Bilbao, 4,000 to 200.
And the Collis King?
Our Collis King 6 on Exeter. I've gone West Ham to beat Norwich. I'm going Leicester to beat Bournemouth. I think Leeds United will be too good for Swansea City. I'm going Real Madrid to beat Alaves, Barcelona to beat Real Valladolid, and Sevilla to beat Mallorca, 2,700 to 200.
Fantastic, but that's absolutely excellent. Right. Now, don't forget, last one standing, we're down to 6, and their selections come from Saturday.
Yeah, one's already sent me his selection, Paul. So confidently, Alan Kruger. He sends it early, he sends it to Mark Curry, and Mark forwards it to me. But the guys are limited with what they got. But there's 2 guys that I think will go close, but you never want to poison them, Paul.
No, let's wait and see who survives. I don't know how many of the 6 will survive.
Paul,
Tough.
I think at least 2 will survive.
Okay.
But, you never pull, Premiership, anything's possible.
Are you better tips than Tim Sherwood?
Oh, jeez, right. No wonder he's an analyst. He's not a punter. He's a shocker. But yeah, it happens, Paul. If you watch the game, it looked like Burnley was a matter of time before West Ham scored. And as he opened his mouth, cross 1-0.
Off the back.
It happens, Paul.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's it. And until next time, stay on side.